Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. We're surrounded by books, so we have a few options, but we're here for a book recommendation video. I feel like I haven't done one in a while, so we're doing one today. Now, these books are mainly small town vibes. I have one that's also Western-y, but think about that. That's what we're going for. Small town, Western, country cowboy vibes. I've done one like this before where I've recommended that type of genre, and we have more. So let's get into it. We'll actually do the one that I just read, All Too Well by Corinne Michaels. Cute. And then we have these new edges. She's actually reprinting this entire series, so book 2 comes out next month, I believe. But based on this book, I will in fact be continuing the series and reading the second one. It was so good. Ate it up. It's also very short and sweet, but also entertaining. For as long as I can remember, Lachlan West has been my brother's best friend and the love of my life. Trouble is, he kissed me 4 years ago and then never spoke to me again. I was doing great, pretending he doesn't exist, until I was assigned to write an article about former college athletes, and I learned that the sexy single dad is my first interview. Now, determined to wow my editor with an amazing sports ball piece, in parentheses, have I mentioned I know nothing about sports? Close parentheses. I head to Ember Falls, ready to face my fears and the man I love. The grumpy quarterback turned fireman wants nothing to do with me or my article, yet somehow I persuade him to let me follow him around for a few weeks, and even if he says yes just to get rid of me, I'll take it. But the longer I stay in his small town, the more complicated our story gets. The boundaries we set fall to the ground along with our clothes. He holds me as I matter, touches me like I'm cherished, and kisses me like he loves me. We both know I have to leave Ember Falls, and he'll never follow me. I only wish I could write a different ending to our story. Tell me that doesn't sound intriguing. Okay, so as mentioned on the back, they knew each other when they were younger. Her brother Caspian was best friends with Lachlan, and when he was younger and he had his daughter, she was like 2 years old. I don't think they specified his age yet, but he was kind of going through being like a single father, and it was a little tough and hard on him, and your girl tried to go and comfort him. She was just trying to reassure him like he can do this, because he's also had some things in the past that affected him and made him want to be a better father figure. So he was doubting himself, and she was trying to reassure him. One thing led to another, and they kiss. But then he realizes like, oh, this is my best friend's like little sister. She's always tagging around with us. I can't be doing this. So he pushes her off, and he's like, I'm so sorry. I'm drunk. Like, forget about it. And she has loved him forever. So she thought that kiss was a start to a potential relationship. Did not happen. So she like leaves and does not speak to him. It's been years since. It's been 4 years now to where they are, to where she goes back to Ember Falls. She hasn't spoken to him since. Obviously, she still keeps in contact with her brother, but they just don't talk about Lachlan whatsoever. So as she's at her job, she's trying to diversify her writing portfolio, and her editor doesn't really believe like she can do that, kind of thinks of her as a weak writer. So she is apprehensive when she finds out that the article will lead to Lachlan, but she's again trying to further her career in writing. So she's like, just gonna suck it up and do it. She goes to Ember Falls, and I feel like stuff just hits the fan from there. Ansley is going there with the goal of just doing her job so she can start getting better stories to better her writing. Lachlan is being difficult. He does not want a story written about him. He's kind of brushing it off like, no, like it's not, you know, there's no need to be doing this. And she's kind of like, there kind of is. It's for my job. So while they're teeter-tottering around this article that Lachlan doesn't want written about him, she starts to bring up like his daughter, Rose. And so she gets put into the loop, and Rose is excited that her father has a woman in his life, even if they don't know where things are going to go. So she takes a liking to Ansley. Even though like she knew her when she was younger, it's been 4 years. So they kind of start a bond, and stuff happens, and Ansley ends up having to go stay with Lachlan and Rose while she's in Ember Falls. And of course that leads to bonding. Then a little bit of push and shove, and finally they decide, okay, while you are here for your short time period, we're gonna do something. No commitments though, but we'll do something while you're here. And both of them agree. Obviously there's deeper feelings behind it, but they agree. And from then on, it seems like all fun and games until that time gets shorter and they realize the feelings grew stronger. Not to mention, it's also Grumpy Sunshine and Brother's Best Friend. Those are top tropes. Top tropes. Both in this book. I absolutely loved it. To me, it felt like a very quick, easy romance to read. And you get to meet other characters that are in Ember Falls that will be featured in the rest of the series. So I think it's a really good start to the series, and I'm looking forward to more. So there we have this one. Next, we're going to do Downpour by Maggie Gates. This is one I really enjoyed. This is part of a series. They're all brothers. This is your Western cowboy ranching vibes in this entire series. It's 3 books, 3 brothers. This is book 2 of the Griffith Brothers series, I believe, book 2. But I think initially when I started this series, I thought this was the first one, but never mind. This was amazing. It's my favorite in the series. Something about it. They're all good, but this one was just amazing in my opinion. Okay, Ray. Rule number 1 of Almost Dying. Make sure someone knows your passwords. It's hard to cancel your phone plan if you're dead. Rule number 2 of Almost Dying. Make sure your house is clean before you walk up the steps to the pearly gates. It makes selling off your life easier. Backup plans are for people who plan on losing. All it took was 8 seconds for me to win the biggest competition of my life and 1 second to lose everything except the championship buckle. He is a bull rider. Buckles are very good to get. Okay. And 1 second to lose everything except that championship. I had left my family's cattle ranch at 18 with no intentions of ever coming back for good. Now I was back, stuck in a wheelchair with a beautiful disaster, attempting to burn my house down. Brooke. Rule number 1 of trying not to get fired. Don't piss off the grumpy bull rider. Rule number 2 of trying not to get fired. When you don't get fired, keep your chin up. The grumpy bull rider was hot. It was just a little fire, tiny even, but that didn't change the fact that Ray Griffith didn't want me anywhere near him. But we came to an agreement. I ignore him and he doesn't fire me. Easy, right? Not so much when we can't keep our hands off each other. So if you can tell, this is another Grumpy Sunshine. I love it. Okay, so Ray, again, there's like family stuff you will read, but Ray leaves the cattle ranch that, you know, he grew up on and everything to be a bull rider. That's kind of like what he always wanted to do. And he takes a bad fall, has a really bad accident, and essentially loses everything. He still has mobility in his arms, but he no longer has mobility in his legs, hence why he's in the wheelchair. So because of that, he's now come home because obviously he would have his brothers. But the thing is, he is so hard-headed, he doesn't want any help. His brothers are trying to like help him find, you know, get him a nurse to help him around. Nothing too serious, but like getting him an at-home nurse because like he does not want to leave the cattle ranch, but he, you know, still needs to do physical therapy and so forth. I'm pretty sure they end up like making a deal or some sorts, and he then gets the nurse, Brooke. It's definitely trials and tribulations to getting Brooke there, but Brooke has her own story, and for her, this is like a serious job. She needs to do well on this job. She needs money because she has other things she has to take care of. So when she sees how apprehensive he is, she's kind of like, she doesn't want to make too many waves because she doesn't want to lose the job, but also she's trying to do her job. Because while Ray's brothers aren't exactly like coming to Brooke specifically for updates, every now and then if they run into each other, they, you know, ask about him. But since the accident, Ray kind of just shut down from the outside world, from everyone, and just wanting to be left alone because he couldn't believe something like this has happened to him. So he's still trying to deal with what his life used to be and what his life is like now. Brooke is just trying to be the best nurse possible and keep her job. And Brooke and Ray come to that agreement. Don't bother me too much. You can do what you have to do. It'll be fine. So obviously she's agreeing, but she's also like side-eyeing him because she thinks he's attractive. But again, he's still very grumpy at this moment right now, and they're not quite gelling. Eventually they start to have a good dynamic, still very much grumpy sunshine, but they have a better dynamic to where they can start hanging out a little bit more. Ray starts to notice some things about Brooke. Brooke is starting to notice things about Ray, and making progress with Ray leaving the cattle ranch and doing more, and doing things he wasn't really expecting himself to do at this stage. But also with this relationship blossoming, Brooke has some stuff from her past that is coming back. It is coming back to get her, and she is trying to run away, you know, start that new life, do better, and some drama happens. Ray and the brothers like step in. It's so great. You have to read it. I don't want to say too much of what happens, but I think that was also a defining moment for Ray, to where he realized like he really likes Brooke, and that maybe he might not want to lose her. This one's a little bit thicker than the first one, but I still think I personally flew through the book because it's so good. It keeps you engaged, and with all, you know, the romance going on, there's still like personal development from both main characters as well as drama, so you are engaged, you're locked in. So this is a good one, and it's part of a series. Next we have The Air He Breathes by Brittainy Cherry. Y'all, so good. This is another one that's part of a series, the Elemental series, and it has character art. Cute. And this one has a movie, which I watched. I read the book before I watched the movie, and I'm glad I did because the book had more details and stuff, and the movie skipped over a few things that I wish were incorporated, but like I knew it was gonna happen because I read the book. I'm not sure if the rest of the books in the series are getting a movie. I just stumbled across the movie to this one. But if you're gonna watch the movie, please read the book first and then watch the movie because you're missing things. Okay, I was warned about Tristan Cole. Stay away from him, people say. He's cruel, he's cold, he's damaged. It's easy to judge a man because of his past, to look at Tristan and see a monster, but I couldn't do that. I had to accept the wreckage that lived inside of him because it also lived inside of me. We were both empty. We were both looking for something else, something more. We both wanted to put together the shattered pieces of our yesterdays. Then perhaps we could finally remember how to breathe. Like what? remember how to breathe. Okay, so this is a small town romance, another Grumpy Sunshine. I'm realizing that I think all of the books I'm recommending are Grumpy Sunshine. It wasn't planned, but again, it's a top tier trope. But it's Grumpy Sunshine and a small town, and then single mom. So I blanked for a moment, but I also forgot to say that the book is signed digitally, but still. Okay, so our main characters are Elizabeth and Tristan. Elizabeth is raising her daughter by herself. There is more to her story, and why that is such, you have to read to get into it. And Tristan is just known as the town grump. Like, people don't bother him, they leave him alone, they don't really associate with him. Everyone has something to say about him because Tristan has a story as well. Can't say too much about it, but that story about Tristan explains why he is the way he is now. So Elizabeth, is with her daughter. They're coming back home to her mom's house or her aunt's house, something like that, I believe. Again, because of the story, that's why she's moving back. And she's just trying to get the lay of the land. She doesn't really, have too much going on because she just got there. And it's kind of like right off the bat, people are telling her kind of stay away from Tristan, like he's bad news, nothing good comes from him. But on one hand, she does kind of want to make her own assumptions about him. Like, she wants to kind of meet him because she's kind of like, he looks good, but his attitude is ugly. That can be fixed, I believe so. So kind of like the first impression was, yeah, you look good, but I don't really like your attitude, and I can't have that negativity in my life. But little does she know, her and Tristan have more in common than they think. So honestly, I want to say Tristan is a grump for majority of the book, no lie. It does get better at the end. You just have to stick with it. I promise you, it's worth it. Stick through it. So Elizabeth, she's trying to rebuild her life. She's trying to make sure her daughter is settled in. She gets what she needs, kind of like this fresh start. But at the same time, she's also not looking for a relationship from anyone. Her focus is her daughter. And Tristan kind of he keeps popping up. Then next thing you know, he's like doing lawn work, mowing the lawn for her, kind of checking in. He has like this little relationship with Elizabeth's daughter. And so that's when they start to, I guess, form a bond per se. And from there, it's kind of like Elizabeth has shut out with other people have told her about Tristan, because now in a way she's getting to know him or see him in a different light than what people have said. And through this interaction, she starts, I wouldn't say a relationship, but they start something. They start a beneficial agreement for the both of them. Because while she's not looking for anything serious, her focus is her daughter, neither is Tristan. And Tristan honestly doesn't really let people in his life to begin with. So he's like, if we're doing this, I can't commit to anything serious. Like, I just can't. And so they both kind of agree that's fine. But then we have a stall moment where things just blow up. There is a reason to why things blew up. You will learn about it, but I can't say too much. And then it kind of just leaves the both of them upset. Like, they're upset at themselves, upset at each other, upset with the situation. So they go on kind of like not talking, because it was one of those how do we then move forward moments, and neither of them were sure how to do that at the time. So their little beneficial agreement, it gets canceled at this point. And Elizabeth's focus then goes back to mainly her daughter. I think she still thinks about Tristan, but she doesn't want to put herself in a situation. And Tristan is thinking about the life that he had, the life that he could have with Elizabeth and his daughter, but he needs to work on some things for himself first before he can do any of that. There we have it. It's so good. I feel like it's slow at some parts, but like it does pick up and you are going to like it. I promise you, Tristan does have character development. He is a good man. You just have to understand him. And there's so much to it. And honestly, I started guessing some of the stuff that was gonna happen only towards the end. It was this big thing for the both of them that I guessed, and I was right. And one, couldn't believe I was right, and two, couldn't believe that happened. But get into it. Get into it. Again, another start of a series. Then lastly, we have Archer's Voice by Sheridan. This is one of my favorites. Love it, love it, love it. This is also the start to the series. It's only 2 books. I read the second one. It's not my favorite, only because it features a main character that's in this book, and I didn't like him. He had some character development for sure, but I still couldn't get over what he did in this book. Okay, Archer's Voice. I wanted to lose myself in the small town of Pelion, Maine, to forget everything I had left behind, the sound of rain, the blood, the coldness of a gun against my skin. For 6 months, each breath has been a reminder that I survived and that my dad did. I'm almost safe again. But the moment I meet Archer Hale, my entire world tilts on its axis and never rights itself again. Until I trespass into his strange, silent, and isolated world, Archer communicates with no one. Yet in his whiskey-colored eyes, something intangible happens between us. There's so much more to him than his beauty, his presence, or the ways his hands communicate with me, on me. But this town is mirrored in secrets and betrayals, and Archer is the explosive center of it all. So much passion and so much hurt. But it's in Archer's silence that we might just find what we need to heal and to live. Yes. Yes. I mean, does that not sound like something you would want to read? It's so good. And I promise you, the plot twist that was in this book, I actually didn't see that one coming. So our main characters in this one are Archer and Bree. Bree is coming to this new town to start over. So again, she's going somewhere she doesn't know anyone, which that's what she's looking for. But of course she does want to socialize. It just so happens that the one person she wants to socialize with isn't really trying to do that. Archer. Archer has had a hard life. You just wait till you read about everything. You will learn this early on though, but Archer is deaf. You will learn how that came to be. So he's in this town where people talk to him, but it's hard for him to communicate back. So that's why he likes to isolate himself and just keep to himself, because it's not giving. The town is not giving for Archer until Bree comes along. Now, even with Archer being a bit standoffish and shy, Bree still wants to get to know them. They kind of have a rocky introduction because Bree does not know off the bat that Archer is deaf. So they have a little bit of a tiff, and then once she realizes, she tries to go back and like apologize, because guess what? Bree speaks sign language. And I think for the first time ever, Archer has someone to talk to, because no one in the small town can speak sign language aside from Bree. Like, are you kidding me? No one? So then they start to bond, and Archer realizes he now has someone to, make life a little bit better again. I think what's beautiful about the two of them is they both had like rocky backgrounds that created them into the people they became. But then when they came together, the layers, they became smooth. If If you read the book, you will understand. So Bree kind of starts this off as like a friendship, like Archer and Bree are friends, not really looking for anything serious, because again, a homegirl just moved to this small town and Archer doesn't really have any friends. So of course, you know, if they're starting something, they would start as friends, and if something came from that, it did. So they start their relationship on a friendship, which is chef's kiss. But along with them starting that friendship, they realize they can trust each other on different levels. So Archer starts to confide in Bree, and Bree starts to confide in Archer. But along with them finally, you know, seeing eye to eye with someone, there is this other character. I won't name him, but he's in the book, and I'm not a fan of him. I do not like him. He causes conflict in this book, causes conflict between Bree and Archer. That's a whole thing you have to get into. And then there's this big secret, because like it said, there's a lot of secrets, betrayals. There's an entire secret that does involve Archer. And I guess maybe if you were like super locked in, you could have started putting pieces together. I didn't exactly. I caught a few things, but not the big secret. And then it's revealed, and that's what kind of caused this insane chaos that kind of left the town a little bit Y'all, I promise you, it's so good. I thoroughly enjoyed Archer's voice. There's some like quotes and stuff in this book that would leave you speechless. It's so good. I love it. It's amazing. It is a bit Grumpy Sunshine, only because like Archer has isolated himself for so long. He's not used to letting people in or people wanting to really interact with him, so he has this kind of hard exterior up, and Bree is obviously the light in his life. Yes, and this one's a little thick, not too much, but it's so good. And so there we have it. Those are our books, our small town, country, western-ish vibes. All of these are really good and I enjoy them, and hopefully you give them a chance and read them. Drop down some books in the comments below that you think I might like based on these books, or I don't know, some of your favorites. But if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more, please hit the subscribe button down below. Peace and blessings, my loves.